Hey Remarkable Lifers, this is Craig, and KJ is at Ceramics today, so it's just me, but we want to talk to you today about something that's kind of been going on in our minds, and something that I think is something you need to think about when you're moving here. I know how to navigate, and that has been a huge win for us, but now that we know how to navigate, now how do we use that to really dive in? And that's the big question. So let's get started. I'm going to talk to you about a few things I have on my list, and maybe there's things that will help you or that you can think about in advance and make this transition overall a little bit better for you. So let's back up a little bit. You know that we moved here in October of 2022. So we sold everything and quit our jobs and did the whole giant leap. And since then, it's been amazing. I mean, there's been ups and downs of learning and getting acclimated and getting into the community. But overall, this has been an amazing, probably one of the best experiences of my life. You know, we moved here and every experience that we had was new. I mean, using the language to finding out where to buy things, all of that was new. Well, we got all that down now. How we see things, how we feel like we're interacting here is very different now. So now, what does the future look like for us? Well, I'm going to start out with the language thing that I mentioned. You know, I've done a couple of different videos about learning the language and how we did it. And honestly, the way we did it was all of our education that we had, college and high school, and experiences that we had, we brought all of that with us. And then it was total immersion. It was making friends. It was forcing ourselves to go speak to people. It was looking things up. It was preparing. It was practicing. It was doing daily exercises, going to interchanges, all of those different things that has really stepped our game of Spanish up quite significantly. And I used to joke that I think we sound like 3-year-olds talking. I'm like a 14-year-old now. You know, I'm cool. I got it. I can have a conversation, but I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time. I was actually just chatting back and forth with one of my Mexican friends who primarily speaks Spanish, and I sent him a meme that was like, you know, where this lady was spraying her husband, making him use Spanish, and she'd spray him with a water gun every time he didn't answer or got it wrong. And I was like, I think I need this. And he came back and said, no, you need the electrodes, electrocute you. I'm like, I don't want to die. But you know, that's what it really takes. You have to have somebody that holds you accountable and is willing to talk to you. And so many people here are willing to do that. But I want to do my part too. And I think one of the things I'd like to do over the next year is maybe do one of the immersive, intensive language courses that they offer here in Mexico. And I think that would be a great thing to take you guys along with us for and to see. I know that they offer them in Oaxaca. I'm going to have to do the research on that. Maybe somebody out there knows. I know a few people who did do the courses and really just loved them. It takes you at where you're at and improves and takes you to the next level and allows you to get that experience of, you know, pushing yourself a little bit with a native speaker, with a native teacher. And so that, I think that's something I might want to pursue. I'd really love that in 3 more years that I feel absolutely fluent, that I don't have any fear when I walk up and I need to approach a new circumstance, that I understand the cultural relevance behind some of the things I say. Maybe get to use more slang. You know, I learn slang every day here, and that's a great way to really feel like you're part of the team, part of the crowd, part of the Mexican culture, especially when you can use it right and understand it. So that's a big one for me. And I think KJ is really kind of leaning that way too eventually. So although he's always been a little bit better than me in Spanish when it comes to grammar and all of that, but I've kind of surpassed him in usage and in words, like what words I know about, like that, this means that kind of a thing. So we'll see what happens, but we'll take you along on that.
So hey, Remarkable Lifers, I am here at Mudlarks today, my ceramic studio, and you can see It's a little bit of a light crowd this morning, which is great. But I wanted to jump in the middle of this video that Craig's doing because, of course, I need to get my 2 cents in. But which I don't really have 2 cents. What's coming next? I have no idea. It's like life is like this big old block of clay. What's it going to be? I don't know. What's it going to be? We'll find out.
There's such a rich community here, and we've gotten to be a part of some of that. But I would really like to be able to dive in deeper and to make more Mexican friends, where I'm not just a token gringo friend. We're actually, friendly and genuinely have become friends. And I think that's just going to require getting out there more, talking, being able to speak and talk to more people. That's what's made the difference in my Mexican friends that I have now, are my language skills, or both of our language skills, improved to the level to which we could actually have a conversation and ask questions and talk to each other about our lives. And the common thread is that we help each other with the language, but we're able to muddle through and we're able to get to know each other, which makes a huge difference and is why you need to learn the language here. Not only for you navigating your life, but in a non-narcissistic way to get to know other people. And some of my best friends here, I couldn't have had I not pursued the language as hard as we have. And we did. We pursued it hard. Just diving in, throwing ourselves in uncomfortable situations. If you remember, I went and visited a friend out of town, and it was 100% Spanish immersion, where I went to Mexico City and spent time with her family. And the funny part about that is that they were all English teachers, and no one told me. Good teachers, right? They just helped me along and had conversations with me and prompted conversations. And then I found out after I left that they all speak English. And so thank you to my friend, you know who you are, for putting me in that position. All of those things really blew up my ability to speak. And again, I'm terrible. I still speak terribly. I'm never going to be fully fluent. I'm never going to be fully sound like a native. I'm always going to have an accent. But I can integrate a lot more than I am. And so that's a goal. And it's really about the people. The next thing that I have is really on a personal level. For me, I'm a creative person, and I like to write. I'm a writer. I've always been a writer. I've always had some sort of storytelling in my journey. Whether I worked in marketing, communications, I've always had some sort of a blog or writing, and or I used to be a spoken word poet. I don't know if anybody knows that. I used to be a spoken word poet back in 2000, like in that time frame. I was pretty good too, but we change and we move on, and life takes us different directions. But the theme throughout that is that I've been a storyteller. And I want to really grow that. I want to really sit down and pick up that book that I've got half written, pick up those poems that I've created that could be put into a collection, all of those kind of things, and see what that can become. Or start all over and see what my new experiences can add to a story. And I feel like we're at a place now where everything's not quite so new and overwhelming, that I can allocate a little time to that. So I hope. Now, the other thing is travel. So we have traveled a lot throughout Mexico. We've gone to Mexico City, as I mentioned, a couple of times, which I absolutely love Mexico City. We've been to Puerto Vallarta, we've been to Cancun, we've been to Playa del Carmen, we've been to just several different larger cities, mostly the coastal cities. That's, it's really occupied. We love to travel. And that's really occupied our brain space and our travel space for quite a while now. For the last three and a half years, everything's been focused on Mexico. So I'd like to be able to throw another trip in there, maybe get over and do that trip to Scotland, Ireland that we've wanted to do for the last 10 years. I don't know, Southeast Asia, those kind of things, really experience different cultures and be able to spend some time there. We even thought about, this is our home base. We don't see ourselves leaving here in Ajijic, but, maybe going for a few months to Thailand or someplace like that, And I don't think that's going to be this year. I really don't. That's a future goal. But we want to have those goals, we want to have those. And as well, Mexico itself. And I want to go to Oaxaca. I want to go to Puebla. I want to go to Querétaro. I want to go to so many places and really get to experience them. And being able to speak and to come at it with a creative eye now has really changed everything. And that brings me to our channel. And so with our channel and with YouTube, it really started out as just a way to tell our story to friends and family and help a few people along the way. And we have just been absolutely blown away by the fact that so many people here know our channel, and people all over the place. I mean, KJ's been recognized in California, and I was recognized in another state in the United States. It's so crazy. And I'm so grateful for people's kindness, but that tells me that we're doing something that resonates, and whatever that is, I feel like there should be a responsibility to it of, hey, let me share a little bit of my life, but also let me give you information that's going to help you. And maybe by seeing some of these things that we want to look at for our future and how this journey has changed us and how we kind of see things differently now, and where we go from here, can also let you think about how you will change, and that you'll look back one day and you'll be walking down the street and someone will speak to you and you'll have a full conversation and you'll look back and go, oh my gosh, that whole conversation was in Spanish, and not even realize it. Or that you won't be quite so intimidated by going to a new city that you've never been to, by let's go to Portugal, or something like that, and not feel the fear that would come with having never done something like that. And just being able to put that into my creative outlets, into my creativity, and see it through the eyes of that and my storytelling kind of a brain, which it is. It's a storytelling kind of brain. I don't know where it comes from. I do, but it's a family video. I'm a legacy. We've got some writers in the family. But to be able to see all of that in a way that I can put that back out for you. And there's a great quote, and it's been attributed to many people, but I read it from the writer Junot Diaz, The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, if you've ever seen that or read that. But you have to become what the book wants you to become in order to write it. And I'm sure it's been said by many people, but you have to become what you need to become in order to make this journey work. For living outside the United States, or Canada, or wherever you're from, another country, and for really immersing yourself into that culture and allowing yourself to change. You will change. Your attitudes, your belief systems, your abilities, your everything will change. And you have to be willing to let yourself change and figure out who you are all over again. And it is awesome. I mean, it really is. It's a lot of fun. Travel is one of the best educations you can get, and that keeps your mind going. I'm not getting any younger. And that brings me to the next one, is health. And I really want to focus a lot more on my health. I try to go to the gym, but as I had a conversation today with my physical therapist, I feel like I go to the gym, recover for 6 weeks, go to the gym again. I keep hurting myself. But stick to it. Maybe find a new way to do it. Maybe transition into yoga. Maybe transition into other types of things that are more age appropriate, and do a little bit of the other. And then also focusing on my mental health. There's something that happens when you move abroad, that you've made the decision to be at a distance from some people. Some people that's a good idea. Some people, you miss them. Some people you never realized you missed, and some people you never realized you wouldn't miss. Not talking to anyone in specific. But it's a thing, and it's a thing. It really is. And you have some aha moments. But that leaves you on your own. And, KJ and I are really each other's primary support. We've got friends now. We've got family members back in the States that we still love dearly and are in touch with. But when it comes to that daily support, we are really each other's daily support. And sometimes we forget that and we have to recenter on it. But you become your own best support as well. And mental health is a thing that you do get to start to look at when you make such a big change in your life. And it could either be good or bad. And some people have found that this is not what they need. This is not healthy for them. And that's okay. For me, I would say it's probably been one of the healthiest things I've ever done for my mental health. Is I got very alone and very with myself and got to focus on the things that meant the most to me, as well as really occupied my brain with learning and immersion into the culture. And it just opened up so many thoughts. And it's something that I want to focus on going forward. Is, you might see me, maybe I'll do a Zen video of some sort someday. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do a breakdown video. But either way, you got to be willing to let it happen. And I guess that's kind of the takeaway, is that whatever's next, I don't know what's next. I know what I hope for, but I also know that I want to put it out there in the universe that there are no limits. Whatever I can achieve, whatever I can do, maybe our channel will blow up and be some massive channel that helps so many people, and yay, that would be great. I will do my best to become what I need to become to hang on to that. But the same with personal life and travel and community and all of those things. I don't know. We have no plans to ever leave Ajijic, but what if someplace else draws us in 10 years from now? What if, I meet, the best friend I've ever had in my life here, and if I hadn't done it, I wouldn't know that person. All of those things, you don't know. You don't know. And you have to be open to let it happen. Kind of like KJ says, when you are molding a lump of clay in his ceramics and pottery, you have to see what it wants to be and take it there. And that's where your skill comes in.
And like everything else in life, you never know what's going to come. And so that block of clay, apparently part of it wanted to become some sort of a Christmas tree sort of a thing. So we'll see.
If you haven't already, go find your truly remarkable life. Adios.